Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Detrone Does It. Of course, I am Detrone, and I does stuff. And this week, I am joined by two guests, and we are going to be discussing albums and music that moved the culture in 2020. Specifically, we're going to give you 3 albums that were hot this year, and then 3 albums that should be left in this year. But before we get into all of that, let me have my guests introduce themselves. That way we can get familiar. Wells?
Yo, Jay Wells, all-around music aficionado. I have a very good ear, I've been told. Also, I'm known to curate vibes. I set vibes is what I do. So it's not just a rap thing, it's a jazz thing, it's an AfroBeats thing, it's a music thing. I set vibes. So that's why I'm qualified.
Welcome on. And Banks?
What's good, good people? I'm just here to talk about the culture, man. That's why I dress like Pretty Tone today.
Right. Who told you that a robe and a skull cap was the vibe? All right, so to get into today's topic, Banks, tell me, was 2020 a good year for music as a culture?
It definitely was. It was good for people to work on their craft, to figure out what target audience they were trying to reach. It wasn't good as far as making money or performing, but
Sure.
as long as they're putting out quality product, it was a good year for that.
Okay. Wells, 2020?
It's a more solid year than good year because, like you said, no touring, stuff like that. But the thing is, this is a get better season for everybody. So no matter what the industry is, especially in music and the arts, this is a chance for you to get better at your craft. You see a lot of people experimenting with their sound. You see like Griselda expanding. You see different like camps just changing up their music. You see LilBaby doing WokeSongs. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of stuff that was just like changing it up. You know what I mean? And it's like, and you think about it, the way the year started, losing PopSmoke, the guy that was ready to be one of the next dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was an interesting year, and even okay, and don't let people are gonna try to knock it like, oh, there were no big releases, stuff like that. Like you don't need a Beyonce every year, you don't need a K-Dot every year. It's like, dude, BigSean, it was dudes that put out good projects that were like notable people. Were they all classics? No, but it was like, yeah, we got King Disease this year. Bro. How long have we been waiting on a real Nas album? You know what I'm saying? It's like
Now that you mention it, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what are your 3 top projects out of 2020.
I'm starting off the top. My favorite album of the year. This is my album of the year. Royce the 5'9", Allegory. I think this is one of the most complete projects. This is a guy that's not only on top of like his flow. It's like he's giving out the content, the feeling. It's like that music you could feel, and it's not just rapidy rap. This guy is talking content, and it's like it's emotional. Because Royce is always a dude that you know he could rap. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows Royce the 5'9" can rap. But it's like when he starts spitting content, real stuff, it's hard to not feel that connection. That's my number 1. Number 2, Dinner Party. Terrace Martin, RobertGlasper, Ninth Wonder, vibe.
Okay.
Turn it on, just do whatever. Cook music, clean music, ride music, chill with your lady music, whatever music. It is a vibe. It's an AfroBeats album, Tila Savage, fire. Check out Tila Savage's joint. Okay. We talk about from just good energy. That's a great album to check out. It's fun music and it's carefree.
Okay. And carefree is what we need in 2020. Definitely didn't want nothing sad out of this year. So I can feel that list, although I've really only heard 1 out of the 3, but clearly I'm a music aficionado. Hey, what you got for top 3 albums out of 2020?
Number 1 I'm going with is Westside Gunn, Who Made the Sunshine. Okay. That right there, definitely a solid project. He really showcased what Griselda can do, what he can do with or without a machine behind him, and how to continue to push the culture forward. Number 2, I'm going to go with Shay Noir because I didn't even know who Shay Noir was.
Still don't.
And yeah, exactly. and when I heard her project, I was like, oh my gosh, a woman that's rapping like this, it really wasn't. She wasn't trying to sell sex. She was just trying to sell herself and her story. Okay. And then the 3rd project that I will go with is Lucky Day.
It did. That was last year.
No. He came out with that deluxe. That deluxe came out this year. There we go.
That came out last year, bro. That's a 2019 project.
Yeah,
the deluxe came out this year.
But the deluxe version, he added 3 songs though.
He He got the LeBron approval.
Wells was talking about AfroBeats. So with the Lucky Day, the deluxe, he came out with some AfroBeats on that deluxe.
Okay.
And they both came out in 2019.
All right, so look, with these albums ranking at the top of your 2020 list, do you guys feel like these albums would stand out in any other year, or was it just because this is 2020 and this is all you had to choose from?
Music, the standard is the standard, bro. If it's a timeless album, it's timeless and it's gonna find you. And I feel like Royce's album is timeless, and even albums that weren't necessarily on my top 3, Nas King Disease, that's gonna live for a minute. Benny's album, that's gonna live for a minute. We didn't even talk about Alfredo. FreddieGibbs dropped a banger, and that's gonna live for a minute. RobertGlasper hasn't made a bad project, and I can't recall. You know what I'm saying? RobertGlasper been on fire. We don't want to do what people are doing with like with the NBA and stuff like that. You know, I'm trying to put an asterisk next to the year because no, you earned it. And I think each of these will hold up. There's people that came out in 2020 that are going to be around for a long time. So these albums in particular that we've already been talking about, I think those are going to stick too.
Banks, you feel like this music year was a bubble, or some of this stuff is going to last 3, 4, 5 years out?
No, going on to what Wells was talking about, the reason that like Royce and the Allegory album and the Alfredo album and the Benny album, the reason why these will still sound good and they'll age well is because they weren't chasing the sound. They were just doing everything organic. That's why that Nas King's Disease came off so good. He wasn't trying to chase the sound.
Sound like Nas.
It was actually a producer in the studio and like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we're working on. Just do what come natural to you, and I'll do what come natural to me. That's why a lot of those, like DaBaby, I don't know if it'll sound good in like 2-3 years.
Okay.
But when you get into Royce and the Griseldas and people of those natures, they stay in their own lane. And that's why it works for them.
You look at these dudes, it's like they're doing them. They're not chasing away. They're doing them. That's what makes it timeless. That doesn't make it a classic album. Right. No, but it's music it'll stand the course of time.
Do you feel like it's any of those, this is kind of an off-topic one, but do you guys feel like there's any artists like DaBabies or some of the more popular hip-hop artists that have come out that actually had a project that hit home this year?
That hit home.
Maybe BigSean.
I was going to say that's the closest person I could think of that's considered like a big artist whose album didn't disappoint. It's like Big Sean's project was a good project. It was good to see his growth lyrically.
Okay.
Because Big Sean has come a long way since What You Doing. You know what I'm saying? We're from Michigan. We know what Big Sean used to sound like. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's come a long way. Like I'm going to listen to Deep Reverence just on the strength of that fire Nipsey verse. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta get that.
Like, that's going to be tough. Harder Than My Demons is a really good song. Why Would I Stop? Another really good song. It's like he's got some tracks on there. So yeah, Sean is the only one I could think of.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody?
Yeah. Same with me for Big Sean. Outside of my core listening, is really nobody from the mainstream artists that really hit it for me outside of Big Sean.
How did you feel about the Party album?
PartyNextDoor?
Yeah.
I hate his voice.
Okay. Because he's big. I mean, he's a big artist. You know what I'm saying?
He's got the one song with Rihanna. That was fire.
It was one song on there that was really fire. But outside of that, nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did any major projects come out? Your Drakes, your Jay-Z's, none of that stuff dropped?
The Weeknd put out an album this year, and it was definitely a dud. Like he spent all of 2020 trying to look like he was a victim of domestic abuse or something, and it was just a dud. So that was a major artist who put out some trash. Another person that put out some trash that I was looking forward to was TyDollaSign.
Talk about it.
The album featuring TyDollaSign is not what I thought that he would put out, especially as good as his features have been. And you name an album featuring TyDollaSign, which means that you are going to put out some heat, and it definitely wasn't the heat. He had a couple songs on it. The best song was the song with MusicSoulchild.
Yeah,
low key. Yeah,
and I was hoping for more of that.
He
gave away his best tracks. Like he's a dude to me that gives away his best music, and that's how I feel about like guys like Party. But also, you just made me think about somebody that should have been. I don't know. I didn't expect much from him, but I want to believe in him. Like I thought DaBaby would have made a better project, but this dude can't get out of one pocket to save his life.
That's just it, though. I think he rides his lane very well. He knows his back.
And the thing is, you can do that, but bro, we getting a full album of that.
Yeah,
no hooks, no nothing.
Anybody's like a surprise, like any team that surprised you guys, any particular artist that was like, whoa, I did not see that coming.
Something that was kind of surprising to me, and it's mostly because I think this dude can rap.